Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hello, my name is Ross. I'm your friendly product specialist, and we're going to do another Learning with Line 6 tonight. And we'll do the awkward bit first, get that out of the way. Hopefully, you can hear my voice, as much as that might pain some people, but there we go. Let me know my voice is all right, and here is the guitar. Make sure the levels are all good. Let me know in the comments. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so this is where the awkward silence comes in, which I'll fill with mindless rambling. Let me know the guitar's good, let me know the voice is good, and we will proceed with the tones of Mr. Stephen Vai. Who have we got? There's a guy, can't wait, over there, Sandy Timmons. Awesome, thank you so much. I'm finally learning with Line 6, brilliant. James, good. Right, marvellous. So yes, tonight we're going to have a go at some Steve Vai tones. I grew up with him, I know a bunch of you guys did, and we're going to kind of go through some of the Steve Vai history, some of the gear that he's used, and the preset that I've made to try and get something like. So let's see how we get on. Like I say, I hope everyone is safe and well. So the gear I'm using a Helix floor and the trusty Pacifica 612V. So that's kind of the big thing. I don't have an Ibanez gem here, as lovely as they are. So this is going to have to do. So this is basically stock, except I've got bare knuckle, true grit pickups in there, and obviously it's HSS, not HSH. The preset's going to be in the comments, which I'll hopefully post now, like that. There we go. Can I pin this? Yeah. Right. So there's the preset for you. That's programmed with this. I'm doing it at home with a pair of Yamaha HS7 studio monitors. So kind of use that as a benchmark. I've kind of played along with some of the tracks, and I think it's pretty close. What I've tried to do, I've not got involved with any of the kind of serious effects in there, some of the kind of really weird stuff. I've tried to concentrate just on kind of the core tones, so rhythm and lead tones, and we've used some of the different elements in there. Let's see what we go, see how we get on. Hopefully you're listening through headphones or something decent. If you're just listening on your phone, you'll get the vibe, but download the preset, play it, and see how you get on. Who we got? Tony's in the house. Good evening, Tony. The correct forum, I have Pod XT Live, sounds great on headphones, lousy in mono, out into an amp. John, off topic, but yeah, check that you don't have the cabinet simulation on, and if you're going straight into the front of an amp, turn any amp sims off, just use the effects. You could be golden. There we go. So, Steve Vai. He's had some fairly monster rigs over the years. I kind of first heard of him in the David Lee Roth stuff, and obviously the Crossroads Duel, which was just incredible. Back then he was using Carvin X100Bs. Now they were kind of funny amps, not a great deal of usable sounds in there, but Steve made them sound fantastic. And then he moved on to kind of Marshalls, like the Jose modded stuff. And that's what I've tried to kind of do with the first couple of snapshots in this preset. So I will show you the preset now, and we'll go through it. There we go, that's better. So this is the kind of components. So I've tried to kind of get a mixture of the kind of the Marshall thing and his more kind of recent legacy stuff and synergy stuff. And I've tried to find a balance. And Steve's tone's quite interesting, where while he uses a ton of different effects to get some kind of weirdness, the actual core sound's pretty much kind of guitar, maybe into a couple of drive pedals, into an amp. And he uses the drive pedals for different things. So let's go through the components for you. So I've put a wah in there. I've just gone with the Weeper because it sounds pretty good. It sounds accurate. Brian says, oh, we're from Arizona. Good evening, Arizona. Good morning, afternoon, wherever you are there. We've got a whammy in there just for giggles, really. We've got two different drive pedals. Now, this is kind of simulating his Gemini pedal for me. as well as pedals that I know is used in the past. So we've got with the Ds1 mod, that one sounded better than the vintage one to me. Feel free to kind of mess around. Like I say, you'll probably need to tweak some of these gain structures for your guitar, but we'll get somewhere close. JP, hi from Tib Shelf. Oh, I'll be passing there later. The Stuper OD, which I've actually got assigned to snapshots to do a couple of different things, which I'll show you as well. So we've got Brit Plexi Bright, and you'll see these kind of things. We've set that up for snapshots as well, just to tweak a couple of bits. Now I've used the Cartographer. I'll explain more in a little while. I was using something else, and you can substitute any of these for anything that you like, but this is just kind of, like I say, this is more of an inspired by and a good starting point. Cabs, I've got 2 cabs on here. I've got 412 with greenbacks with a 160 ribbon. It looks like that. And I've gone with the 212 Silver Bell because he does use 212 cabs as well. And I've just put the 57 on that. That's going to give me a little bit of extra bite. Over here, I've got twin harmony, full harmony stuff. Again, depending on what kind of tune you're playing, you'll need to tweak that. I've got dual pitch. Now this is set up for that kind of micro pitch, eventide thing that a bunch of guys were doing back then. I've got a chorus because, you know, chorus. Dual delay, I've gone with quarter note and dotted eighth notes, and then I've got 2 reverbs. I've got a room because he does kind of mic up the room, and then I've got a good big hall. So let's get kind of let's get into this. So snapshot 1, I've set 4 snapshots up. I've actually set my Helix up to do 4 snapshots on the bottom and sort of 4 instant access on the top, which is going to give me access to a couple of different drive pedals, the chorus and the delay, because they're the ones I'm going to find I'll probably switch out most during this. So snapshot 1 is kind of going for his clean sound and the older clean sound, so David Lee Roth era. And Steve, on record, Steve's clean sound isn't it is clean, but on like live, if you kind of hear him in interviews and all that, it's not super clean. It's got a little bit of edge to it. So kind of with the volume full up, and generally he'll have it in position 4. It kind of sounds like that. So it's kind of on the edge breakup. You dig in, it crunches up a little bit. But the tone I was going for with this was kind of, again, David Lee Roth era, so it's that, if I can remember the riff. And if you kind of go forward a little bit, you get into the kind of Passion of Warfare era, and it kind of does that. If I play it right, try that again. That kind of thing. So it's clean, but with a little bit of bite, and what that does in the mix, it cuts through, and it actually does kind of sound pretty clean. If we go snapshot 2, I'll just give you the kind of core snapshots for now. Snapshot 2 is kind of the same amp, but you will see that if you kind of, there you go. So I've cranked the gain, and I've cranked the master, so it's kind of really kind of compressed and saturated, and does that. It's beefy, but it's tight and responds really well to the volume control. And this kind of does a few different sounds just with the pickups and the volume control, and kind of. This has always been a kind of a point of reference for me for crunchy rhythm sounds. Some of these tracks, and it just sounds awesome. Kind of does that thing. But also cleans up, so if you wanted to do that kind of spankier clean stuff, it's there as well. That's just the volume control down, pickup position 4. And again, that will feed into kind of the Passion of Warfare stuff, so. And it's kind of beefy enough with a little bit of volume roll off, it tightens up. If I put a bit of delay on that, that's that one. Again, tweak your delays as you see fit. This is just kind of a dual delay, basically. Snapshot 3, we're getting into the more modern stuff now. With the modern stuff, it's a little bit crispier. It's not smooth, but it cleans up really well. Now, that's kind of why I went for the tip for the cartographer. So this originally, when I built this preset, this originally started as the legacy preamp, which is awesome. And obviously it's the legendary drive, which is a model of the Carvin legacy preamp, which is Steve Vai's signature pedal stroke amp. And it does really cool things. With the volume control again, the pickups, so kind of in that older school Marshall kind of plexi circuit where it just responds really well, but it's got a lot more beef to it, or a lot more low end, and you can still kind of do that. So if you compare that with Snapshot 1, and that sounds great, but it's not nearly as kind of beef as big on the low end. I'm going to totally butcher some of these riffs, by the way. Sorry, Steve Vai fans. So again, it's that kind of crispiness, but with a big bottom end. And what I found is the cartographer just does that brilliantly, really responds well to all of that stuff. And then Snapshot 4 is just the big. So that's kind of listening to some of his latest stuff, where he's demoing. We'll add some of the effects to that as well, and like on its own. It's cool, but it's when you add the effects that it starts to come out. So we'll go back to Snapshot 1. So in kind of researching Steve's tone, he does a few different things. So that's where the kind of pedals come in. So one of his kind of main lead sounds is a kind of a crunchy amp, or a slightly sort of on the edge of breakup amp, obviously with delay because it's Steve. And then he'll add the DS1 to that. So the DS1 mod on that sound. So kind of, it's almost fuzzy stroke, you know, amp about to absolutely explode. But you put the delay on that and a bit of chorus, and it's totally that. It does that thing, and again cleans up. And it's got that kind of crispiness. Snapshot 2, that's going to get a little bit kind of overpowering because there's a lot of gain on there. Kind of already, you add the distortion pedal to that. Gets a little bit kind of fizzy, but it definitely does that super compressed kind of thing that he does, which we'll cover as well. If you go to Snapshot 3 and add that DS, with that extra low end, that's instantly kind of... And when I play right, the harmonics come out. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit in the room. And also, again, that's that sound. Listening to some of the tracks and playing along with them, that's that sound. I've put the dual pitch on. It's kind of there, but it's quite subtle. And again, this is the more modern stuff. So. So it might sound quite fuzzy, but like I said, when you actually play it with a track, it's absolutely bang on, and it's got that exploding amp thing. Snapshot 4, like I say, is kind of somewhere in between, but it's a little bit cleaner. But that, to me, throw my pick. Again, with that crispiness, it's that. And in that song, he does a kind of a thing and rolls the volume up, and it gives you that bite. So the way I've set this up, you can kind of get similar sounds out of all of them. So Snapshot 3 with the Ds1 mod and the delay still gets you there. So yeah, like I say, you can kind of hear that crispiness, which you just don't get out the Brit Placey Bright. Just smoother and creamier. But what I've done with the Stuper OD, I've kind of set that up. If I bring that up so you can see the controls. Per snapshot, you'll see it kind of changes. So what I've done on the higher gain stuff, I've got it so the gain is lower. So that's just kind of super creamy. Some kind of Steve Vai-ism. But on Snapshot 3, it's got more gain. So what I've tried to do with that's kind of hopefully getting somewhere into the kind of when he was using Bogner ecstasy, so a lot smoother, a lot creamier, and hopefully that kind of sound. No, that was terrible. So again, it's still that kind of exploding amp thing, but it's just smoother and creamier, and just really, really nice. If we go to Snapshot 4, we put the kind of dual pitch on. This is sort of where I've gone for, again, that kind of Passion of Warfare-y. And you can still put the overdrive on there and the harmony. when you're playing the right key, it sounds better. So, I mean, that's kind of it. It's a mixture of sounds. It's some of the effects, but not all of them. If you're after the kind of ballerina 1224 thing, there's a ton of presets on custom tone for that. That's too deep for me. Obviously, anything with harmonies or specialist delays, then you know, kind of, you're gonna have to go in there. We'll check the comments. Does the Helix have line 6 connect output to DT? Yes, L6 link, it has that. Tony says, am I hearing direct audio from Helix via USB? Do you have something in the room mic'd out? I'm also downloading yeah, download away, Tone. Yeah, so the setup, I'm going out of Helix greedily into another Helix. So Helix Rack is my interface for my studio here. So I'm just going into the stereo return out of the jack outs. So nice and simple. And yeah, just monitoring from there. Tender surrender. Yeah, a bit of a disaster, but there we go. Preset sounds awesome. Cheers, Ray. Andy Timmons style. Can you get creamy, thick, full of sustained lead tone using that preset and the bridge pickup? Yes, you can. It does that. So, I mean, you could even go snapshot 4. Am I getting the right position? Enough in the room, but there we go. With the distortion pedal, it's even more kind of... And that, although it's kind of hissy, if you actually listen to the isolated track for Love of God, it's not a particularly nice tone, but it sits in the mix so well. And when he does those kind of quick runs, with this, because there's so much gain, if you roll your volume off slightly, you get it. Yeah, that kind of super singing, saturated thing. What we got? Can't repeat that, Med, but yeah, cool. I'm not able to see, read, reason, comments, questions, not scrolling. Yeah, Chad. It's going to be on Facebook, so you can go and check it out later. So there we go. So like I said, kind of back to quick rundown. So snapshot 1, it's kind of his clean sound. Does that kind of thing with the distortion pedal and some delay. Something like that. Snapshot 2's that. Covers everything from all that business. Snapshot 3 is kind of like snapshot 1 but with more low end. And then snapshot 4. Something like that. Just so you can hear the wah. It does that. It was. It does the wah thing. That's in there for fun because I've put the whammy in there. I didn't put a volume pedal in there, and that's kind of useful for some of the swell stuff. But if you don't use the whammy, get rid of it, put a volume pedal in there, and you're all good. What guitar am I using? I'm using the Yamaha Pacifica 612V with bare knuckle pickups. So, like I said earlier, it doesn't have a neck humbucker, but it does a good job, and I like it. So, although, like I said, kind of, it's going to sound different with your guitar, it's going to sound different with your setup, but use this as kind of a starting block. Tweak the gain structure, maybe tweak the EQ. If you've got super high output pickups, you'll absolutely need to bring some of that gain down. And maybe change the EQ or change a mic on one of the cabs. That's going to get you there sort of pretty easy. Like I said, I've not gone in super deep with any of the effects. Maybe that's for another day. We'll experiment with something like that. I just wanted to get some of the core sounds which I think are in there. And if you kind of do this and you play along with some of those tracks, especially if you can get the backing tracks, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that sort of works. So it's just fun. But some of those sounds you can absolutely use for a ton of different things. So whole bunch of fun. Racers, waiting for Christmas time is here. It's a little bit early for that. Maybe later in the year we'll maybe revisit this. But like I say, hopefully I've managed to capture with this some of the David Lee Roth stuff. Obviously Alcatraz at the same time, Whitesnake as well. Some of that stuff's in there. And like I say, just the core sounds and some of the kind of the nicer, squishier stuff. But have a play. The link to the tone is in the comments, and I'll make sure it's on the YouTube thing as well, so you can go and download it. And that's me. Fairly easy one tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. We're going to have another one of these next week. And it's going to be a big one, let me tell you. So, good, clean fun. I'll keep an eye on the comments. I'll answer any questions that you've got sort of over the next few days. Again, thanks for watching. And tune in same time next week. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Cheers. Bye.